Hello, folks. We are back from our self-imposed hiatus/vacation. We start the episode kind of talking about where we were, what we were doing, the fun stuff, the crazy stuff, all that jazz. We also talk a bit about some Justice League news that ended up actually leading more to a fan theory discussion than anything. And there was also some kind of cool news bits that came out from the Terminator camp from James Cameron and Tim Miller. This episode doesn't really have a boss battle. We actually recorded pretty much a full recap of all the films that Atul saw and whether he liked it or didn't like it and a little quick summary. But we found it was kind of long-winded and not super entertaining, so we are going to do a completely separate episode in the near future that outlines Atul's top 5 favorite films from Fantastic Fest, as well as a film or two he didn't really like. Hopefully it's a little bit more streamlined and a lot more entertaining. We're also working on a social media presence at the moment. We started with Instagram, and you can find us at Welcome to Your Doom Show. We're actively working on a Facebook page. We're just kind of finalizing some of the art on there. And we have a Twitter page in the works, or a Twitter account. Is it a page account? We still don't really know how to use Twitter, but when we do, we'll let you know. Anywho, that's pretty much it for this intro. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your doom.
Welcome to your doom.
This is Justin.
This is Atul.
And welcome to your doom. Damn it.
That's so nice.
No, I know.
Welcome to your doom?
Welcome to your
I
doom?
suppose
No,
you
you're
guys
listening to the Welcome to Your Doom show. We're going to talk today a little bit about Fantastic Fest. We didn't even plan that.
Jesus Christ. Try to sound a little more excited.
Dude, I'm more remiss. Okay, my problem is that every time you were sending pictures or posting them on Instagram, I was dying inside a little bit because I was fucking jealous. Dude, it looked like so much fun.
It was a tremendous amount of fun, dude. But the thing is, everybody went somewhere. Even, in our last podcast, Sudeep was podcasting with us. He went to Germany for Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
And then you went to Hawaii.
Yeah.
And then I was off in Austin, Texas for Fantastic Fest. But first thing first, how was your trip?
It was pretty amazing. So, Nish and I, we went to 3 different islands on Hawaii. We went to Big Island.
Yeah.
We were there. We were staying in Volcano, where actually your cousin, Ajay,
yeah,
he stayed at the place that we stayed at. He was the one that recommended it. It was basically 30, I think about 3,000 or 3,500 feet elevation.
Yeah.
In a rainforest. It was raining all the time. It was like a wooden cabin. It's kind of cold and damp, but it was super cool.
That is cool.
It just looked like a lot.
Sounds very rustic.
It's extremely rustic.
Speaking of rustic, you probably noticed that there is a slight crackle in the mic. Don't adjust to your sound set.
What's
headset?
Set?
What is a sound set? I don't know what it is.
Whatever you're listening to us on, don't adjust it.
We've decided to do this episode outside, celebrating a little bit of the October spirit by getting outside. We got a fire pit going in my backyard here, and we decided to try recording next to it just to get that ambiance and to see how it works out. It was a lot of prep to get this all set up, but I think it's worth it, and it's a lot of fun to do. So we thought we'd take this approach today and see how it goes. So yeah, you hear a little fire cracking in the background. That's just
cracking in the background.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. So anyway, sorry to interrupt.
No.
Rustic
wood cabin.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really cool. That was, I'm trying to remember the name of it. Wonderful woman named Catherine organizes basically cottage rentals, and that's where we did. We did that for 4 days in Volcano. Then we went to an Airbnb in Kona, which is on the west side of the island, which is super touristy. I wasn't really into it.
Okay.
But we didn't really spend a lot of time in Kona aside from going to the beaches, and then we did basically it was like an all-day stargazing tour. obviously stars are not out during the
Yeah, I
day.
was about
but
to say, all
they-
day stargazing.
they picked us up at we went to a hotel kind of as a meeting spot. He went around the island, picked everybody up, and then the plan was, I guess we were going to go somewhere first and then go up to the mountain. But the time that he was looking to go to the mountain, it would have been way too cloudy. Basically,
see.
like
Okay.
you're kind of screwed. You could be screwed on these
Sure.
tours by the elements,
Sure,
depending on what it is. So he was looking. They have cameras all up in the mountain where we would go and do the stargazing tour, which is way above, like it's above the clouds for the most part, right? Especially in the evening because the
Right.
clouds fall a little bit.
Yeah.
So there are cameras up there that are publicly accessible, and he was watching the cameras on his phone the whole time. He's like, not yet, not yet. So
Yeah.
he ended up taking us pretty much all around the island.
Cool.
Like we saw some waterfalls. He brought us into this really cool cave.
Yeah.
So it was just a really good tour, like full day tour. Here's the best part about it though. So when we finally got up to the mountain, and it's cold as hell up there. So he gave us like parkas, and not like proper parkas, but
Cold like this? It's like 9 degrees C.
No,
sorry,
no.
was it like it's like 12 degrees
it
C.
was like maybe 1 or 2 degrees Celsius.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
so it was cold. Like
Yeah.
you definitely
Winter
did.
cold,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was winter cold for sure. So anyways, we get up there and it's cool. We're looking at the stars. Like it's so clear that you can
Yeah.
see like the Milky Way.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You can see every star in the sky. It's gorgeous. So Nisha, at this point, like we've been traveling most of the day. She hasn't been around a bathroom, so she's like, I got to go to the restroom. I'm like, yeah, it's fine. The stars will still be here. You'll be okay.
Yeah.
She's gone for maybe 2 seconds. And by the way, while we're up there, there's an astrophysicist or an astronomer. I can't remember
Someone,
which one,
yeah.
but a guy that knows stars.
Yeah.
I'll dumb it down, but that's what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Guy that knows stars. He's out there and he's talking about he's basically just, it's like open mic. People ask him questions. He answers them about the stars and space and everything and this and this and that. All of a sudden, the sky lights up, and this is at like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, lights up like day. Like a bluish day. It
No
just
way.
lights up completely. If you've ever seen a shooting star, that's what it was, but it was like a shooting star times 1,000,000.
Wow.
The amount of light it gave off lit up the sky. Everybody gasped in the crowd.
Whoa.
And then the astronomer's like, I've been doing this for about 2.5 years. I've never seen that before in my life. And everybody's like, what was it? He's like, it had to be some sort of a shooting star, low orbit. And he started kind of reasoning off what it could be. And just as he's saying all this stuff, I realize, oh no.
Nisha's
and I look and I
like
just see Nisha pouting because she was in the bathroom when that happened and he comes out talking about it. And as soon as she heard him talking about it, she's like,
I missed.
shit.
Yeah, I missed something.
And then to really rub salt in the wound after, somebody asked him the question, like, what's the coolest thing you've ever seen up there? He's like, honestly, that. And I look over at her and she's like,
Salty.
oh.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
But was that like? Well, that sounds like the coolest thing that happened on your trip. That sounds pretty amazing.
Probably, yeah. It was probably the coolest trip. There was one other thing that we did. We were on the island of Kauai, so
Okay.
that's where they filmed some. I think they filmed components of Jurassic Park 1 and 2 there.
Sure.
Famous waterfall for it, but whatever. But the cool thing was we did a helicopter tour, and it was a
nice.
helicopter, no doors.
Oh, no doors.
No doors. So you're strapped in
That's
and
like
just like
Vietnam.
Yeah, man. It was just like full 360-degree kind of.
Dude, that's fucking
It was a lot of
crazy.
fun. So leading up into the helicopter tour, the whole time I'm telling Nish I'm gonna start singing the Jurassic Park theme whenever we come near that waterfall. And she's like, "There's gonna be other people in there." I'm like, "Yeah, I
That's
know."
okay.
She's like, "Yeah, but we're gonna be all connected with microphones." I'm like, "That's even better."
And how they can't get
They
away from
can't
me.
get away from me. So, anyways, we're up there, and I'm not actually going to do that. I didn't want to embarrass her or embarrass myself at the same time. And then we come up to the Jurassic Falls, and the guy's playing music on the system that's all being piped into our headsets. And then all of a sudden, he turns on the Jurassic Park theme, and I was like, "No way! This is great!" I'm like flipping out, and then all of a sudden, the helicopter pilot starts going. Do 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 do. Nisha looks over at me with this look of like, no fucking way. Like, how is this happening right now? And she looks over at me, and I'm just like,
Oh, man,
just
that's
laughing.
so funny.
And then Nisha goes on the mic because you got to press the button, and everybody in the thing hears. She goes, "My husband was just talking about doing this." And then the pilot looks over at me, and this is the one and only thing I said on the entire flight there, like up and down for an hour. I didn't speak except for this moment. I just click. I'm so happy right now. That was what it was.
Dude, that sounds great, man.
Yeah, man, it was good. And then the last thing, just because I wanted to mention this for anybody going to Hawaii, we were staying in just outside of Waikiki Beach on Oahu for a day. super touristy. If you're gonna do that, just go to LA. Like that's.
Oh, really?
I
Yeah.
didn't enjoy Oahu from a tourist standpoint because it was just all touristy. The other islands were amazing. There was a lot to see, and it just felt really like a really good trip. But going to Oahu was just kind of like visiting LA or just a big city. So
Fair.
But other than that, great trip.
Travel tips from Justin.
Oh, and a shout out to Natasha and Nakul for the wedding that we attended after Hawaii. So I wanted to give them a quick shout out.
Cool. Excellent.
Happy wedding.
Yeah. So I went to Texas, which was wildly different from your trip. I went down there for something called Fantastic Fest, which is this, I guess you would call it a genre movie festival, doing like fantasy, horror, science fiction, and it's it's an international festival, so you have films from all over the world, shorts, feature length films that are that are going to come out later in the year, films that don't have any distribution yet, standard sort of festival stuff. In terms of just like the state of the films that they show there. So some of them are looking to be picked up, and this is one of the ways they get exposure, and the reaction of the audience gets gives distributors the idea that say, hey, okay, and we're going to pick this movie up, that kind of thing. So it was really great. Fantastic Fest, I think, is sort of known for its rambunctious culture. Like they've built like a fantastic, like a family. Like Austin, I think, is a big family for like film lovers and film like creators, like creative types.
Yeah.
And they're all sort of in this together, whether they're critics, podcasters, actors, filmmakers, writers, whatever. They're all very connected, and Fantastic Fest is a culmination of that sort of connection in a single place. And I've always wanted to go to the Alamo Draft House ever since I started reading about movies online in like the late 90s. They always talk about the Alamo Draft House being like the place to go, and then Fantastic Fest. I'd always look forward to that September time of year when I was younger, because all the Fantastic Fest reviews would come out, and that would be the time that movies that I wanted to watch would get reviewed.
Yeah.
Right, and that's where they would show it. So I've always wanted to go. My wife, for my birthday, she got me two tickets.
Yeah.
And I was like total dream come true. And actually, you were supposed to come.
I was, yeah.
But you had the wedding that you had to go to, and you guys. So I basically had to find someone else to go with, and actually, and Shogu's not gonna take offense to this because she knows. She knows. She was my last choice. Because Shogu is not as into like the horror, like the science fiction-y type of films as I am, particularly horror, because a lot of these have like kind of some of these movies have content that is, the festival's always sort of pushing the content, pushing the boundaries, and picks up a lot of those types of movies. So I ended up going with her because nobody else was free, and it actually turned out to be a lot of fun. I got her to see. I was like, okay, if you come, you have to come to the movies that I go to see, and she's like, no, I'm not going to come. So I like tried to drag her to the movies I wanted to see. Sometimes we split up, sometimes we split up. Sometimes we stayed together. But all in all, like everybody was super nice. I got to meet and talk to a lot of like creative people, whether they were press or the filmmakers, the actors.
Yeah.
Everyone was so gracious and amazing, and I would go back in a heartbeat. It's great. It's a marathon. Well, it is a marathon. It's every day you're watching like 3 or 4 movies.
So what day did you get there? Like how long? Because I felt like you were there for like a week and a half. Like there was a certain point during the thing where, so I didn't go with you because I knew that, well, I quote unquote knew that the wedding, like the Hawaii trip, we scheduled it when we did because it made sense, because we had to go to Kelowna, which is in British Columbia, Western BC. Canada.
Yeah.
So we thought, well, might as well go to Hawaii for a few days, and then since we're already on the West Coast, we just hop, skip, and a jump over to Kelowna.
Yep.
Easy peasy.
Yeah.
So I couldn't go based on just the wedding thing. The Hawaii trip we could have planned around. But then I felt like you were there so early. Like you were there.
I got there on Thursday afternoon.
Yeah.
And that was the first day.
But
of
that
the
was
festival.
like, what day was that? That was like the 18th, maybe?
Yeah, it was the previous week.
Okay, yeah, it was the previous week.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense, yeah.
So, and it's a week-long festival, and they repeat movie viewings.
Right.
Excuse me. But I was there for the whole time. I showed up on Thursday and I left on the Friday, like the following Friday. So it was a marathon.
Yeah.
And I was happy to come back home after it was all done. But, just the experience itself was just it was so great. And what we can do is we can jump right into Fantastic Fest coverage, I guess, unless you wanted to. We had a couple of news items.
There was a couple of small things.
Yeah, let's talk.
We'll go through them pretty quick.
Well, actually, wait,
not...
before we talk about those.
Yes, because we haven't been doing this. We've been bad about this.
So what we're drinking here, Fireside, is celebrating October, because I think it's the 2nd today, right?
This is the second, yeah.
So what we drank first was, oh, good Lord, I can't see anything in the fucking dark.
Hold on,
out
I can
here.
see it. Sorry, guys. I don't know, man.
Oh, yeah, this one is
Wild North Pumpkin Ale.
Wild North Pumpkin Ale was the first one. Pioneer Harvest Pumpkin Ale, the second one.
It just says sour.
This one is Sour Harvest Saison. Okay? So we've been doing these tall boys out here, and what we have coming up is another sour and the Lost Craft Crimson.
Yeah.
Red.
I've been getting more and more on like the sour tip, man.
Yeah, no, it's great.
What's it called? Halo. I've talked about them in another podcast.
Yeah.
They make a lot of IPAs are their big thing, but they also do a lot of sour beers and a little more artisan stuff. It's kind of like if I want something really different and tasty and stuff, I'll go to that. But if I just want like a crisp beer, that I wouldn't go that route. But
agreed. These like have like a lot of flavor. They're not transparent.
No.
I guess is why they're basically like cloudy. There's a lot of sediment. There's a lot of like that oomph in them, and the pumpkin ales are just sort of a festive thing, and it's a lot of fun to try that. I love fall and winter because the seasonals in fall and winter are just way better than anything else. I think it's better than anything that's in the spring and the summer. I think the seasonals at this time of year are great, and I try to capitalize on it as much as possible. So,
right.
And October is like my favorite month, man. I fucking love it. I love it. This fire pit here, being outside. You can actually see the stars out here. It's kind of nice. So we will be sharing this space with a bunch of raccoons shortly. They invaded the space at around 11:30 last night, and they're all mostly benign. Like they kind of just like wander around, climb up on the fence and on the roof and stuff. But
raccoons are not a problem unless you corner them and they have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Then they will go through you. But if they see you, they can go anywhere at any time. They'll just waddle off and climb something.
So you may have to, if we have to go on the defensive, you may have to, I don't know, maybe you don't edit it. Just keep it in. You can hear us fight off a couple of raccoons. Anyway, so news items.
There was a couple things. The one thing did you actually see the Justice? I mentioned it to you earlier today.
The posters?
The Justice League posters.
Yeah, I saw them.
Super simple.
Liked it.
Their ad campaign, or at least the visuals for the ad campaign, are pretty good. Between some of the posters have been great.
I thought their ad campaign sucked until about Wonder Woman.
Until the Wonder Woman, exactly.
Until about Wonder Woman, and I feel like
it was the Justice.
I think a lot of people got fired, and a lot of people, like advertising companies, got changed.
Right,
and they've taken a whole new perspective. But you know what? I also feel the Marvel campaigns are all like not good either. They're like their posters are not interesting.
They've never been though.
They're all just kind of really bland. And Justice League was going down that route, and that was it was bad. I thought that was particularly bad because the Wonder Woman ad campaign was so good.
Yeah.
The posters for Wonder Woman are something I actually want to buy.
Yeah.
Like especially the IMAX poster with her standing there and the shield in the background.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah,
and the color scheme for the whole beautiful, gorgeous work. But the Justice League ones have just been...
They looked like garbagey Photoshop stuff until the turning point for me was the
Alex Ross.
The Alex Ross replica.
Absolutely.
Or not replica, but homage, we'll say.
Yeah.
And we talked about it in the SDCC podcast, I think. So
yes, yeah, exactly.
That was the turning point for me. And then some of their more recent promotional materials looked good. Their trailers have somewhat changed
Their approach.
tempo,
Yeah.
I guess, of the film, or what it seems like it's striving to be. And then these character posters are super simple. Like, it's just side profile, single basic color for each character. But I mean,
colors, right? Like, you see Batman's is like purple, isn't it? Or blue.
I think it's like blue, yeah.
It's like, it's a callback to, maybe his like blue and gray getup, which is kind of cool. But
Aquaman's is green.
Green, yeah.
Flash is obviously red. I can't remember what Wonder Woman's is. It's like a
Wonder Woman's is like it must be a red. I feel like it's one of the
red.
colors that's been in her color scheme.
Yes,
It's been like very tie-dye almost, color scheme. And I really like it. Super simple. It didn't like knock my socks off, but it was way better than what they had going on.
Oh, for sure.
Like the character posters that were coming out in that group shot they have is just so uninspired.
Yeah.
And
it's just photoshopping the character profiles.
Yeah, I did not like that at all.
Yeah, so I mean, I think this was the next thing that came out promotion wise from a poster standpoint since the Alex Ross homage.
Yes,
so
that's true.
I think whoever's in charge of that has kind of hopefully figured out where to go.
Yeah, exactly. I think they're going down the right path.
Right.
With these.
So when I was I'm switching gears. This is a random tangent, so it's going to tie back to Justice League. But the wedding I was just at, I was borrowing one of your sets of cufflinks. I think when you got married, you had pretty much all the different Justice League characters cufflinks. So I ended up borrowing Aquaman from yours, and so I was looking at the Aquaman ones. I was like, I'm going to take a dapper pose for Instagram because, as you know, we're obviously trying to promote ourselves a little bit more on it. Not promote, just, I don't know, share fun shit on Instagram.
Yeah, get
That's
the word
basically
out
it.
and just, be our geeky selves.
So what I wanted to do was take a picture of me adjusting my tie, which, by the way, was an asteroids tie, like the classic game where you shoot with the aliens.
Oh, man.
I was dapper. I was nerd dapper.
You went full nerd on this one. I like that.
So anyways, I had that. So what I was going to be doing was adjusting my tie with the Aquaman cufflinks, and I was going to say underneath, I was going to hashtag it with, like, Unite the Seven.
Oh, okay.
Which, by the way, we took that picture, and I looked like ass, so I didn't post it. But just a sweaty mess. It was not good.
Man.
But anyways, so to tie this back, one thing I realized, so there's the 5 character posters, and obviously there's Superman. That's 6. Who would have been the 7?
Yeah.
I think we know who the 7th one would have been.
Green Lantern?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like that,
they
to
even
me,
say it in the trailer. Like he says that
no
he's
lanterns,
like, no lanterns, and no Kryptonian.
Yeah. But so the lanterns are obviously an established portion of this universe, but it sounds like to me like the whole. I think that they back when they had released that, because that was way early. Like they had probably just nailed down the character design of Aquaman at that point. Like they hadn't actually released any trailers, or it was just super early, and it was all of a sudden you see Momoa as Aquaman. It's like, holy shit, this looks amazing. And that character poster said "Unite the Seven." Now, some people were thinking, oh, well, could it be the 7 members of the Justice League? Could it be the 7 Seas?
The 7 Seas was, I think, one of the the other one it could be is Martian Manhunter, but they hadn't hinted at him at all. No. Unfortunately, I think fucking Martian Manhunter is like the best character.
He's super interesting.
He's very interesting. What they did with him on the Justice League Unlimited show was by far some of the best stuff, and his standalone comic series in the early 2000s, I think, was very, very good. Mm-hmm. John Ostrander wrote it, the guy who created the Suicide Squad and stuff, and Tom Mandrake, I think, is the guy who penciled it. Great stuff. But I think it was, the 7 Seas. I think the plan was.
I don't think it was.
I actually, I'm going to be real talk for a minute.
Yeah.
Real talk. I actually ignore DC news right now. I don't actually read it.
Well, that wasn't like that. When you're saying DC news, do you mean like, oh, Scoop, Affleck doesn't want to be Batman anymore? Like
it
that
started with that.
Yeah. No, I agree. That stuff I don't really take any stake in.
When they're like, oh, there's going to be a new Joker movie produced, I don't read that.
To me, that's all
when
garbage.
When they're like, oh, the Nightwing movie's going to, I don't read that.
Yeah.
Oh, like all of this stuff, I actually don't read it anymore. Jeff Johns says that it's not going to be quite a connected, all of this detailed level news about their universe and their direction and like all of that. I don't read any of it anymore. Yeah, I'm tired. I'm fucking exhausted.
Right.
I think that you guys just need to get your shit together, stay focused.
Yeah.
I'm not going to read any of this shit. I don't care. You guys talk to people, you say things, and people blow it out of proportion. You know this.
Yeah.
You know this already. So just stop. Just
Yeah.
stop talking.
Yeah.
And just do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Focus on what's coming up next. And I'm super. You know what I do read about? Every little piece of Aquaman news I can find.
Because they're actually filming it, so
Yeah,
whatever they're
it's
doing
like-
is relevant.
Yes,
Right?
I'm every little bit of Aquaman news I can find. I'll read about it.
Yeah, but like anything about the the Green Lantern's Corps,
The
that
Green Lantern
means all
Corps-
of nothing at this
Yeah,
point.
Green Lantern Corps, the Harley, Gotham
Gotham
City
Sirens, yeah.
all of that. I don't read any of it.
It's useless.
It's so useless. And then you have all of these comments of people, and I'm just like, guys,
Just
this
shut-
is non-news.
Yeah.
Okay, just fucking move on.
Exactly.
Like when these things go into production, or they have a script, or like whatever. Then maybe, but let's get excited about what's coming up next. And to Warner Brothers, shut the fuck up. Just shut up. You guys have got a hit under your belt.
Yeah. You've already printed the money for Justice League. You're going to get some cash. Will it be all of the cash you need? Are you going to make your money back? I don't know. Make
Yeah.
a good movie and we'll see.
Yeah.
Wonder
Yeah.
Woman bought you guys a whole lot of good faith right now.
Absolutely, it did.
So don't screw this up. You guys
Yeah.
literally have the best platform you can right now after Suicide Squad and Batman versus Superman. People were not looking forward to your films, and somehow you managed, based on a good movie with a competent director, with a great cast,
Yeah.
and with rave reviews, got people to get their asses into the seats.
Yeah.
Don't screw this up.
Don't screw it up. Stay focused. Stop talking about. I just feel like they haven't learned their lesson about their PR is awful.
Yeah.
I guess that's what I'm trying to get at.
I
Whoever's
was
managing
trying to
your
tie
PR
this back to the Unite the Seven, which
Yeah.
is at that point they were kind of they were putting their stick in the sand a little bit too early because at that point, I mean, the Seven Seas is not the Seven Seas. They were talking about the Justice League members
Yeah, I
for
think so,
sure,
yeah.
right? So at that point, like if you're gonna do that, you better do it.
Yeah.
Don't start putting out promo campaigns now, like at a certain point and doing a 180 on it. Not that it's a complete 180; it's still Justice League, but like they've changed that tagline from Unite the Seven to Unite the League.
Yes, they
So-
did. They did. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Warner
anyways,
Brothers, shut the fuck up and
keep releasing good posters.
Keep releasing. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, the reason. So you were saying that you weren't super overwhelmed. I liked them a lot, and here's why: is when I was looking at them, I was picturing them all in a row in a big movie theater.
Oh, yeah.
Huge posters.
Oh,
and I was
yeah.
just thinking,
Nice
like,
and colorful.
that's nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Nice
No,
and colorful,
absolutely.
all lined up.
Yeah.
Really big size. Very at the very bottom, there was all the 6 symbols that were there. So Superman symbol was in there too.
Oh, you mean the Alex Ross poster?
No. This is on the character posters. On the bottom of the character posters, all 6 symbols of the Justice League members are all
Oh,
there.
so the S shield is there.
The S Shield's there. I mean, it's not like it's a secret. I think
No,
everybody
it's
knows he's
not.
coming back.
It's not.
I would wager that he's coming back as a villain for this film.
I really don't think they look. Warner Brothers PR sucks, but after Wonder Woman, they have to have learned something. They have to have learned something, and that something is stop fucking with these characters. Cut it out.
Well, no. Here's the thing. Against those 5 individuals, right? Not counting Superman, who's the guy that could probably give them a run for their money? Superman, right? I think actually he would.
Sure, I think that his allegiance.
Yeah.
I think this is.
Now we're going into fan theories.
Yeah.
I think we'll keep this as the only piece of news.
Yeah,
I like this.
Yeah. I will say that this is a dumb idea, but what they will try and do, and
Yeah.
I hope they don't, but for fuck's sake, I think they're gonna do it, is they're going to play with his allegiance.
Mm-hmm.
As if that's not something that we know already.
Well, okay. So here's the thing: is I think
I'll put it this way.
Yeah.
If they do this in a way that's actually, I will be surprised if it plays well.
Mm-hmm.
Like to anybody. I'll be surprised.
Here's the thing, right? Is I think Superman. The problem with Superman and Man of Steel for people how they perceive it, and in Batman versus Superman, is he's kind of not dark. Every time I hear
Mopey.
somebody say he's dark, that's not the right word. He's not dark. He's a bit mopey. He's not very. Not that he's not positive. He's just not very uplifting. You know, he's just kind of blah, right? Whereas Superman, you kind of. Whenever I think of that character, I look at him just kind of as A Ray of Sunshine. I'm thinking Christopher Reeves. I'm thinking Silver Age Superman, where he's just kind of always like, truth, justice, and the American way, and he's always just very, very positive, and values and morals and blah blah blah, that kind of stuff, right? And even when they went to New 52, and he was a little bit more of a dick, he was a little arrogant,
younger,
a little cocky, and a little more. Yeah, I didn't like reading that as much. It just didn't ring true to the character.
Sure.
There was a really good panel in what was the with Sue Dibney gets murdered. Identity Crisis.
Identity Crisis. Yeah.
There's a really good panel where they're basically investigating the crime scene, right?
Oh, I love that. I love that.
You know what I'm talking about,
when
right?
The metal men come in.
The metal men. They're analyzing the
fibers,
the fibers and
carpet.
stuff.
Oh, so good.
Mr. Miracle, is it Mr. Miracle? The escape artist.
The escape artist, Mr. Miracle.
Mr. Miracle's going around. He's like, oh, I would have broken into this or they could have gotten in this and this and that. And they're just talking about just a simple Boy Scout. And he just looks at the noose and he's like, this is a blah, blah, blah noose. Like something very Boy Scouty, right? And just all these other characters are doing this really complex, crazy stuff. And he boils it down to something simple.
Yeah.
This knot is this. There's only so many people that would think to tie a knot this way. We got to go after the nooseman or whatever. I don't remember who the guy was. But it basically led to going after a character like that. Yeah. It's just his simplicity. Superman in and of himself is not a super interesting character on his own.
He has to be surrounded by colorful characters.
Or not colorful characters, but interesting situations. Something.
Yes.
It's the situation that dictates him. He's the unmoving thing, and how he deals with a subject or a situation that isn't in his realm is the interesting part.
Absolutely.
That's been the interesting thing. So in this case, it's been different. It's been him just kind of being a little mopey or negative or not very uplifting to watch, and that I don't think people have clicked with. Now, to take it to Justice League, my theory is that he's going to come back as a villain. Not as a villain on his own. I think he's going to be mind control. Yeah, it's going to be a mind control thing. He's going to be a weapon for not Doomsday. Steppenwolf. I was going to say, God, what's the planet? Apocalypse. Yeah, I was just going to say Apocalypse. But yeah, Steppenwolf, and eventually they'll get to Darkseid. I swear to God, if they call him Darkseid, I'm going to lose my shit.
They call who Darkseid?
Superman. If they're like, this is my son, we will call him Darkseid, I will lose my shit. I don't think they will, but I've seen Smallville do stupider crap.
Oh, dude, no, they can't do that.
No. Dude, okay, so now another tangent. Smallville, they went and they did not Doomsday, they did Darkseid for a second. They had this really cool, it was all animation. It was like a season cliffhanger finale, and then they just turned him into a space ghost. It was lame, so... Anyways, don't do that in this movie.
I mean, that's standard TV budgetary constraint.
But the reason I'm thinking he's going to be a villain, probably not of his own will, is the whole Flash flashback scene in Justice League. Because it was completely about Superman. Don't trust him. Lois Lane's the key. There's something going on with Superman, and I think it's something along those lines.
Yeah,
but who knows?
I know I think you're right.
Yeah,
I just don't want them to do it.
Oh, true. Really okay, that's different. Yeah,
I think you're right. I think they can safely ignore the dream sequence, and I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I don't want it to go to a dystopian thing. I wouldn't mind the fight and then him snapping them snapping him out of it. That's fine. I mean,
or getting he's saying Lois is the key to get Lois to snap him out of the mind control.
That might be it too.
I think that's what they'll try and do.
Maybe, yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, I what you said about Superman and how he needs to be surrounded by characters and events that allow him to react, which makes him interesting.
Yeah,
I think that's mostly true. I think that's a good way of looking at it. Making him interesting by making him making him mopey is a word, but learning to be hero.
Yeah.
It's I think it's it's a good thing and a bad thing, and I think it was handled poorly in Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
I mean, you call me a Man of Steel apologist.
I'm with you on this.
I actually like Man of Steel. It's not a perfect movie by any stretch of the imagination, but I actually like it. I like the fact that they tried to do something different. We should actually do a whole other review, Man of Steel episode, because
it's not going to be contentious. Divisive. I agree with you on that. I really, I
have theories.
I enjoyed Man of Steel a lot. I think they played it well. It was a different take on the character. My statement about him not being interesting, it's not that I don't think he wasn't interesting in Man of Steel. I think he was a bit misused, and the circumstances around him didn't make any bloody sense in Batman versus Superman, so it didn't make sense. But like Man of Steel was a really good, not coming of age, but like it kind of is, I guess, coming of superhero, coming of
it's the
identity.
Movie, it was great because the movie ended with him becoming Clark Kent, and I always thought that's
interesting.
An interesting way to structure a film. I was very happy with that because the end of it, he doesn't become Superman like Smallville or like, you know, at the end he becomes Clark Kent. He becomes, you know, his alter ego, which is a reporter, right?
Yeah, right.
So I thought that was interesting. But anyway, what were the other pieces of news you had? We'll touch on.
Keep
those
it short, but it was I was just excited. I'm a huge Terminator fan, and obviously the franchise has been getting let's say derailed over the last few movies. Yeah. Like it had a very clear.
You know what? I really like Terminator 3. So
I'm just gonna put that out there.
Too. It was sue me.
It was very, very different.
You sue me.
I'm with you on that. I wouldn't.
I'll fight you all.
It's an enjoyable.
I know you're saying
film.
you're with me, but I'm gonna keep saying fight me. I will fight you.
It was an enjoyable film, and it was still in the same vein, I thought, as the first and second films from a standpoint of a story. It didn't really disconnect me like the other films did. It made sense. Like they basically were saying like. Fate is fate. It's going to happen regardless.
Well, I think part of the problem people had was that the other movies were saying the exact opposite thing.
Right.
Which is, there is no fate.
Yes, exactly.
And then Terminator 3 is like, you know what? Fuck
Guess what?
you guys.
There is fate. And I'm okay with that. I think that's kind of interesting.
The back and forth. I like the idea that, you know, we don't have it figured out. There isn't one answer. I've always liked that. Anyway,
But the thing with Terminator 3 that set people off was that there was some camp and some comedy bits. That's the thing. It didn't fit the tone of the first two movies, but as a standalone Terminator film, it was pretty enjoyable. I thought it was.
Yeah.
And I really like Nick Stahl as
I do too.
John Connor. I really did. In fact, I think he was probably the best John Connor. I'm trying to think of all the John Connor. Yeah, I would say he was the best John Connor of all of them.
I love the graveyard scene. I love the fact they open the casket and it's filled with guns. I'm like, yeah, you couldn't get Linda Hamilton. Yeah, you couldn't do this stuff. But this is a great way.
It was appropriate
to like feel her presence. Yeah, like in the movie without actually having
a casket full of guns. Yeah, that is like, exactly how she would do it.
And him just like that scene of him walking out with a casket on his shoulder. I'm like, that's just it's ingrained in my head.
So that scene,
imagery is like is so powerful to me.
There's this one really good moment, and it's to me it's almost it is to me it's comedy gold, and I don't think they play it that way, and I don't know if it played that way in a theater, but there's that moment where after he's done unloading, he's carrying the coffin on his shoulder, and after he's done unloading on everybody, there's this moment where he stops firing. And then he just turns to the side and just walks off screen. Yeah, it's just to me, it's comedy.
And
like,
there's no sound.
There's no sound. Yeah, no music, no anything. He's just like, okay. And he turns to the right and just walks off screen. I don't even think the camera moves. I think he just walks off.
No, I know
like,
exactly
exits
what you're
stage right.
I remember exactly what I remember that.
So, anyways, the news was obviously Arnold's coming back for Terminator 6. What was 4 and 5? 4 was Salvation, which was Bale, which was pretty garbage.
I think Salvation has its moments. I like the action bits,
right?
And it's you know what? I demo my home theater using the car chase from T3, and the car chase from Salvation,
the motorcycle
with the motorcycle,
Moto. I can't remember what they're called.
Terminator,
something. Let's say with.
I feel like there's like 18 T's in the but yeah.
But the ending, like the ending, I enjoyed thoroughly. Like when I didn't know anything about this. I think, can we say spoilers? Fuck it, I'm saying spoilers. At this point, it's been out long enough. Spoilers. The end scene with the CG Arnold blew my mind because I didn't know that was going to be there. And then all of a sudden you see that, and I was
thought it was in the trailer, wasn't it?
I don't think so. But you know me, man. I see I see a trailer once, or I see the first big trailer, and I don't watch any others. Yeah, or I try to at least. And in this case, I didn't, so it was a complete surprise for me. And then all of a sudden, I see that, I lost my mind. And it looked good. Like, it looked very convincing. They did pretty quick shots. You still have the dead eyes problem, but he's a cyborg, so you can kind of get away with
the dead eyes.
Yeah. But it looked pretty damn convincing.
Yeah.
Anyways, it had some good moments. Terminator 5, man, I was excited by the trailer because I like it when they kind of go rehashing old ideas. I'm a little. I know you were.
We
argued on this
conversation.
I'm a little more forgiving of that stuff. Not even forgiving.
Yeah.
It's just I'm a little. I'll give it a chance. I know it's kind of a cheap vessel, and I don't disagree with that. But I'll give it a chance, especially like watching the Kyle Reese character running through the thing again, and then all of a sudden it's actually a T-1000. It's not the cop.
Yeah.
I was like, this is cool. They're gonna do something really awesome. And actually, that scene was pretty cool, where they actually developed the trap around the T-1000 and they melted him, and that was
with
cool.
the acid,
Arnold,
right?
with the acid, and then Arnold fries him with his arm, and
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. But that was literally the only cool thing in the movie. And when I said that, what's his name, Nick Stahl was the best John Connor, I can't remember the name of the actor. He was the worst, and it's not even his fault. Because they just wrote the character of John Connor so badly.
John Connor in that movie turns into a Terminator.
Yeah,
right?
it's like, no, don't do that with that character. Like,
he's like the nano Terminator.
He was like the nano Terminator. It was just, they keep upping the ante. They're like, let's make him even worse. Like, the concept of a friggin' robot that can crush your body without doing anything other than coming and chasing you, that's already pretty scary. Yeah. Making him a nano, don't stop upping the game. And honestly, they didn't really do anything more with that character, I thought, than they did with the one from Terminator 3.
Oh, so here's a weird thing, and I know that we're going long on the news here. One of the things about Terminator 3 I really liked is the Terminatrix, which is an awful name.
Yeah.
She is obviously designed to be the best of the T-800 and the T-1000.
Yes.
Together.
Yeah. Yes.
It's literally like they saw Skynet saw Terminator 2 the film.
Yeah.
And was like, how do I fix this? It's like, I'd like the Terminator to have the flexibility of liquid metal, but I also need to have a frame so they can't get squished into jelly and all that, and have to reform really slowly or get melted by like lava.
Yeah. And while you're at it, bring in the Bluetooth robot. Let's bring him in there. Let's just screw that little thing in there.
Yeah. So I'm like, I think that it was actually like the TX.
Yeah.
Is an actual obvious
evolution
of Terminator design, and I was always appreciative of the fact that they do that in the movie. They show you explicitly how it works. Because she gets sucked to like an electromagnet, and the liquid metal starts pouring off, and her
and you see the frame,
like the
endoskeleton.
The endoskeleton is there. I was like, oh, this is great. I thought that was just from like a fanboy standpoint, and especially working in like you work in software, and you're always talking about new products and new designs for new products and evolutionary changes. That's an obvious one, right?
Of course.
So yeah.
But like they didn't offer anything new with that John Connor character.
So who's back for this? Cameron's back.
I'll end it on this. So Cameron's back. He's not in direct. Tim Miller's the director, the director of Deadpool, I believe.
Yeah.
And Arnold's back, obviously, and then they also got Linda Hamilton back, which
is that for for sure?
Yeah, that's for sure. So basically, they were Miller and Cameron I think they were in an interview. I read this on Joe Blow.
Yeah,
and they were in an interview, and somebody asked them like, "How was it getting Linda back to agree to this?" And Tim Miller's basically like, "Yeah, Jim over there was shitting bricks when he had to go and talk to his ex-wife."
No way.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, she's my ex-wife. I was terrified. And then he's like, no, I'm just kidding. We have a really good relationship still. Yeah. So I asked her, and she said she'd do it. Like, I'm paraphrasing, but that's essentially what it came from. So I think that whatever they've got up their sleeve, I'm hoping it's redeeming. And they also said the other thing I want to mention is they're going to just forget everything that was in whatever.
Anything after 2?
No, I think that they're
just going to forget the last one.
Yeah, the last one. That was the only thing they said they're going to completely disregard,
right.
Which is good because there was no redeeming qualities to that film aside from the flashback scene, I'll call it, or the whatever, where the T-1000 Terminator's chasing the old Terminator and.
Got it. Yeah, the homage scene.
The homage scene, which is literally the only good. That and the Arnold rocket.
Well, you know why? Because they copied it from a better movie.
Exactly. They're like, let's do that and just make it a little more exciting. We'll add a second Terminator to it.
Yeah,
good?
That's right.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
that's
been episode 7. These are the boys signing off. This is Justin.
This is Atul.
Take it easy, guys. Have a good rest of your day, evening, and whatever else I just love okay. Before I end,
so awkward.
no, I know I love doing these awkward ones because the first time we did it, and it was awkward. It just felt funny.
Yeah.
And now I just keep on trying to make it even more and more awkward. So no, in all honesty, thanks again, guys, for listening. Have a good rest of your day. Take care and be nice to one another.
Oh, it's good.